Hello and welcome to the Physiology of Endurance podcast. I'm Owain. As always, I'm joined by Dan. We have 1 week to go until Valencia Marathon. How's it going, Dan?
I'm getting nervous now you said that. I started sweating. Like 1 week to go. It feels, can't believe we got through 8 episodes of Road to Valencia. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know
and
where time's gone, to be honest.
no curse so far. Well, maybe a bit of a curse. You've been ill a couple of times.
I'm not broken, Mo. I've got 6 days to stay in one piece.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all good.
So yeah, as we said, 1 week to go. We said last big week of training, but you've actually probably done a fairly big week this week. I mean, not bit massive, but there's some decent stuff in here that we're going to go through.
I'm not one for like tapering massively. Obviously, I'm doing less than I did a week before and less than a week before that. But I think if you're used to running 7 days a week, then I'd still run 7 days a week. And I think I feel pretty bad your body can respond pretty badly, I think, if you suddenly just turn off and start doing no running, basically. But yeah.
And I think there's a physiological and a like psychophysiological component, isn't there? Like if you take a day off running because you're really busy and then you run the next day, you're like, oh, I feel rubbish.
Yeah.
Just not running very well.
Well, I remember hearing an interview of Alberto Salazar, and I wouldn't quote him normally because he's obviously
questionable guy.
Well, yeah, banned from the sport basically. And however, I remember him saying in the build up to I don't know if it was London or one of the Olympics, with Mo saying he normally runs twice a day every day. He was just getting him to go out and run a mile, 2 mile in the afternoon, just for him to go do something and take his mind off it. It's probably a bit different if you're a pro and you've got all this time to kill. But if you're used to training twice a day, then it's not going to hurt you going out and doing a mile or 2 in the evening, is it? If you've already done your normal session in the morning. I like to maintain a pretty good training load, at least the week out, and then even a week off. I'm still going to do decent mileage, partly because you're going to run 42k plus a warm up on the Sunday, but only the last 2 or 3 days I'm really shutting it down.
Yeah, and travel sort of take care of that, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah, that as well. Yeah.
So going from November 18th, up to 1 week to go. I think we're picking up from last time you were in Scotland, weren't you?
I was in Scotland. We've missed something, Owain. We've missed something.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh yes. No. Yeah. My apologies. As always, we're sponsored by Saw. I wore my Saw shorts again out in the crazy weather today, Storm Bert, and didn't chafe, which is a pretty good result.
Hey, that's nice. That's good.
Getting absolutely soaked.
Yeah, and again, I've been in my this week. I've been in my base layer. I have the shorts on for a treadmill session. And again, actually, I'm someone who has probably too much information, but I have Vaseline on every run basically, especially on my treadmill, because it's you just don't want to get yourself into a chafing hole, do you? If you when you're doing so many miles and you're running every day, if you're starting chafing and then you just make it worse every run, don't you? But forgot my Vaseline and wore the Saw shorts on my sweaty treadmill session, which we'll talk about on Tuesday, and I was fine. So there you go. That's the endorsement for today. Chafe proof.
Yeah. Thank you as always, Saw.
Yeah.
So November 18th.
November. Oh, I'm on the wrong day here on my Strava. November 18th. Yeah. So still, we'd have a weekend in Scotland. Still in Scotland on the Monday. But we were traveling home. Well, we were starting the journey home on Monday, so we wanted to get up early. We had to get out of the Airbnb by, I think it was 11. But I wanted to run. I wanted to run as well. We had to pack everything up, so I got up reasonably early. I think it was 6:30. Did 10 miles, 16k. Bloody freezing. On my Strava, feels like -4, and that's what Strava said. But Met Office was telling me it feels like -8, and it felt like -8. I had my leggings on, I saw base layer, jacket, a proper beanie hat on. The gloves that you gave me, which are really good, the mitten ones, and I was still cold. I was still cold. But it was a beautiful morning though. It was again like it's a lovely. It was, Peebles is beautiful if you haven't been. Like the Scottish borders are beautiful in general. And it was just a really nice cycle path that follows the valley. I did this route like 3 times whilst I was up there, basically. On the what was that? The Saturday, the Sunday, and then on the Monday, and it was really nice. The sun was coming up, and it was pretty, but it was bloody freezing. So that was Monday. Didn't double that day because we then had to journey down to. We decided to stop in Chester on the way home because it was going to be like 6.5 hours. Like if you Google Maps it, but when you're traveling with a 2-year-old, it's not going to be 6.5 hours. It's going to be probably more closer to 10 than 6. So we decided to stop in Chester. I got there not late, but late-ish, and didn't want to go out again. So stayed in Chester Monday night. The snow's coming in now. So if you, I don't know, it was snowy in South Wales as well, wasn't it? But
yeah, very very briefly. Sleety snow, didn't really settle. But
yeah. So it was starting to snow Monday evening in Chester, and like looks at the forecast, and it was going to be horrendous for next day in terms of snow, but also just it was going to be wet overnight, wet or snow, and then be really cold. So you just knew it was going to ice over. Because our plan had been on Tuesday morning to get up and do like one last big session along. There's a really nice path, like cycle path, walking path I've run on before along like the River Dee. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, around Chester. So it's great for like fast running. And I wanted to do like 25k of going 1k, hardish 1k float, because I felt like that's the sort of stuff I hadn't done loads of. I've done more than I did in my build up to Valencia last year, but not that much longer, more specific stuff. And I didn't want to do anything more than 25k because we are like 10 days out now, or 12 days out it would have been, wouldn't it? So that was my plan, but obviously realized that wasn't going to happen looking at the forecast Monday night. So signed up to the gym because you get day membership for there, so that was quite good. And I thought I'll go there and I'll do like some 10-minute reps. Plan was doing like 6 by 10 minutes at about marathon pace. So got up early, jogged over to the gym. The conditions were horrendous. I couldn't have done anything outside. It was like I averaged 5-minute Ks jogging over through snow, ice. It was like the snow was like 3 or 4 inches deep, like on the car. So I'm glad that I had like looks at the forecast and already organised all this. But yeah, ran over a bit to the gym, warmed up there. Treadmill. I realised I'm a bit fussy now with my treadmill. I thought I could just run on everything, but it was a Matrix treadmill, which I'd never run on before, but looked all right. I checked it out before on the website to see what treadmills they had, and I'd made sure they had treadmills and they looked like half decent. But as soon as I got on, big red flag was it was in miles per hour. And I was like, oh bloody hell, miles per hour! Like, so I had to quickly get my phone out and do the maths. Then worked out, but it peaked at 12 miles an hour, 20, which is what's that? Not very well. What's that in k an hour? Not very fast. 19 something.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
It's about 19.4, I think. So I was like, right, okay, we're definitely doing 10-minute reps then. So chucks it on 12 miles per hour, 1% grade. Started off, and my legs have felt a bit rubbish since driving up to Peebles. Really, like they just felt. I'd had a bit of back pain, so I don't know if I'd like trapped a nerve a little bit, but it just felt like they were like aching, like they'd done something really hard. I mean, I hadn't done anything really hard and just like not responsive. And anyway, warmed up on the treadmill, first rep, legs are feeling pretty rubbish, and it just felt. I quickly backed it off 12 miles an hour because that felt like way too hard, and I could tell my breathing was getting up, my heart rate was getting up, and it just felt my legs just felt rubbish. So did another. I think I dropped it back down to like 11.5 miles an hour, which I think worked out as like 3:13 a K or something like that. But that just, even though like my heart rate was all right, even if when I adjusted the pace so my heart rate was in the right place, my legs just felt like awful. So I got to 3 by 10 minutes, and I was like, I'm going to stop here. But I didn't want to just call it a day, so I did a bit more jogging. I jogged for 5 minutes and thought, right, maybe I can do some shorter reps. I did like 1 2-minute rep at 12 mile an hour. And that just felt like horrendous as well. And I was like, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna jog it in. So I ended up doing like an hour 10 on the treadmill plus 7 minutes of jogging to 5 minutes jogging back from the gym. Got a bit lost on the way, but I was like, that's not what I wanted. That was just going to be in my head was going to be my last big session, and like something really like, to really like hopefully knock on the fitness like one last point, and then just sort of tick over a bit in terms of the sessions. In my head, like I'll still do sessions, but I wasn't going to get much benefit from them, and I really wanted to do something a bit longer and faster. So I was a bit pissed off after that, to be honest. So yeah, moved on. I decided you just got to move on, haven't you? I just take the next day. So that was Monday morning. Went to Chester Zoo. What was that?
That's Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning. Yeah, Tuesday morning. Went to Chester Zoo, which I loved. It was great. To start off with, we were a bit worried because there were no animals out, because there was snow on the ground everywhere. We thought we've spent a load of money here, we're not going to see anything, but ended up seeing quite a bit of stuff. Now, I loved the orangutans and managed to see a tiger, elephants. Yeah, it was good, but again, ended up getting back. The intention was just to spend a couple of hours there, but ended up spending all day there, so didn't get home to Cardiff, to where I live, just north of Newport, until late-ish. So it was just a single. But yeah, that was fine. I've lost where we're up to. Wednesday now. What day are we on?
20th of November.
20th. So I was pretty knackered, didn't want to get up early before work, so I managed to sneak in an hour in the middle of the day. Legs are still feeling rubbish, just rubbish. Like, again, I've done like 16 hours of driving in across the long weekend, and I don't think my legs liked it, to be honest. I've never responded that well to driving, but yeah, just legs are still feeling rubbish, which I've also got a bit of a cold. I also had a bit of a cold, and I was like, is it the cold? Is it just like driving? Have I done something to my back from the driving? Just starting to feel a bit rubbish. So I did 14k an hour, so 4:12 a K, and it just felt like cardiovascularly fine, but muscularly like hard. And I'm getting in a mood now. This is like proper like taper tantrums, like feeling like it's all just gone to pot. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, did 14k at lunchtime, did 8k with the buggy to pick Night from nursery in the evening. So yeah, that was Wednesday. Nothing to report there really. Thursday, again, woke up early, 10 miles, 16k, 4:24k pace, legs still feeling rubbish. I had time to sneak in a tiny little double, so did 5k on the treadmill in the afternoon, and did 6 times 15-second strides on the treadmill. I really would like to have done these outside, but I was in a massive rush, and I didn't have the right gear for running outside. It was freezing cold. But it was quite interesting because I ran I started off, I did 6 times 15 seconds, and I thought, right, I'm gonna start at 20k an hour, so like 72 second 400 pace, 3 minutes a K. And every one I knocks it up by 1k an hour. I thought, like, where am I going to get to? So I got to 25k an hour the last one, which is maxing out the treadmill speed, and I've never run at that pace, and that felt fast, but all right. I did work out what that was in what 25k an hour was, but I think it's sub 60-second pace for 400. But yeah, that was a nice little experiment. I've done so many miles on my treadmill, but never actually ramped it all the way to the top. So yeah, that was Thursday. Still feeling a bit rubbish, legs feeling a bit rubbish, feeling like a really mucusy cold, not awful, just like disgusting green mucus coming out my nose like constantly. So the plan was to go and do a threshold test on a Friday morning. But like I woke up at night, felt really crap, decided that I need to sleep more than get up early and test. I thought I'd just see how I felt later in the day. Did feel a bit better. I was doing some testing with Welsh Triathlon, and we were testing like back to back 9 till 1. And then I had a bit of a window after that. So I thought, actually, you know what? I'm feeling all right. I'll give it a go, because this was going to be my only opportunity really to do a threshold test. And I really like to do it before each marathon. Wanted to come back to repeat what I did last. I did like what was about 8 weeks ago, was it? We did I did it.
Yeah, it would have been.
See what the progress was like. Half like not wanting to do it because I was expecting it to be awful. Legs actually, then warm up. It's like, oh, gee, you know what? This is the first time in about a week my legs have felt all right, so that was a good sign. I had my brand new pair of Asics Metaspeed Paris Skies in a size 8, and I'm an 8.5 because that's the only size I could get, but seemed to be fine. It was worth a risk. Yeah, after doing that testing last week and just comparing them, I was like, right, yeah, I think I do need to buy a pair of these Skies, and they're sold out everywhere. But on the Asics, I managed to find actually at the Asics website, I managed to get a pair of size 8s. So they came in, first time wearing them, repeated the threshold test that I did 8 weeks ago, and it went really well. So that was, I mean, the results were really good. The test itself was a little bit annoying in that the metabolic cart crashed after 4 stages. And I don't know why, because I even did it on the cart, but we've got 3 metabolic carts, 3 Vintuses in my lab, and I even did it on the one that we like, Owain, like the one which has got my sport physiology hub profile on it. So it's got it's just got all the bits of info that you want on the screen are up. So you can choose what variables it presents basically, and yeah, my faithful Vintus crashed on me after 4 stages. That's going to annoy me for about 10 years, I think, because this was the best test I've ever done, and I've only got 4 stages of gas data, and there are 4 stages which nothing exciting is happening yet. It's like the first 4 stages where I only got up to, what was my last one? So 15, started at 15k an hour, so 15, 16, 17, then I went to half kilometer hour increments, so 17.5. So I've got up to 17.5k an hour, and then I just it was the screen just the data just stopped collecting. So it wasn't like it had even frozen; it just stopped recording anything. So that was really, really annoying. However, the most important stuff is the lactate. In terms of like what's going to determine performance, what's predicting performance. So got the lactate, got the heart rates, and it was really good. I'll share, I guess in the show notes, I'll try and share like a screenshot or something, or a link to the we'll figure out how to link the data.
It's on your Strava anyway.
It's on my Strava, so I've already shared it on my Strava. You can go and see it there. I think I shared it. No, I think I've only shared it on Strava, on Instagram, I think on a story, but I'll share it across I'll do it at some point. I'll do a thread on X, and I'm now on, what's the app called?
We're both now on Blue Sky, aren't we?
We're both on Blue Sky now. So if you've jumped ship from X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, then we're both on Blue Sky, and first impressions are good. Give us a follow there if you're on that.
Bots.
Less bots, algorithm seems a bit better. So did exactly the same tests as 8 weeks ago. So 5-minute stages, 1% gradient, a minute recovery for me to take my lactates, and started at 15k an hour, so went 15, 16, 17, and then went half a kilometer an hour increments from there, so 17.5, 18, 18.5, 19, 19.5, 20. Last time I stopped at 20.5. This time I went to 21, so that's a good sign. Like LT1 lactate threshold, first threshold, whatever you want to call it, pretty similar, like 19k an hour. So that's, that was pretty identical to last time. But LT2 came out as 20.5k an hour, which is about half k an hour faster than it was 8 weeks ago, which I'm now sort of like doubting the validity of my data, because I wasn't expecting it to be that good. But it's a really nice curve. It's pretty there's a pretty obvious break point going from 20.5 to 21.
Yeah, if you'd stop the test at 20.5, I don't know where you'd put where you would suggest your turn point is. Like,
yeah,
but now you've gone to 21. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah, and the thing is, because I wasn't analyzing the lactates as I went along. I was using our biosin, so I collected all the samples and analyzed them afterwards. And the biosin is basically just a lab grade lactate analyzer, which is it's more precise, more reliable, more accurate than a Lactate Pro or any other like handheld lactate analyzer. So I got to 20.5, and I was like, I don't think I'm there yet. I think I need to keep going. I kept waiting for the breathing, because you know when you pass your threshold, because your breathing goes. You can suddenly go from like being, you're obviously breathing, like, but like there's a noticeable jump when you start getting towards that intensity, where you've gone past your threshold. You can tell once you've like done enough tests or calibrated yourself against that feeling. I think you can just tell. And I just wasn't getting that. And my LT2 heart rate is normally 170, and I was like 171 or something, 172 at 20.5. And I was like, well, I better do another stage in. So did 5 minutes at 21. Yeah, and definitely felt the breathing go there, and felt hard, but I'd go like, it wasn't a 10 out of 10. I'd say it was a 9 out of 10. So that was reassuring, because I don't think I could have done 5 minutes at 21 8 weeks ago. So that's just like, as a performance indicator, that's nice in itself. But yeah, after being pretty mopey for the best part of a week, feeling a bit sluggish, a bit rubbish, this gave me a lot of confidence. Obviously, yeah, like I said, it's a better test than 8 weeks ago. Like LT1 was similar, but LT2, which I think is more, is in my eyes anyway, it's more important for the marathon. That's going to set your ceiling. Like, obviously you can't run at that pace, but you're going to run a little bit below that. And the other thing was like gave me a load of confidence is it was a good chunk better than the test I did a year ago prior to Valencia. And that test I did 3 minute stages instead of 5 minutes, because it was for a study. So that would actually that would be an easier test, if you like, because you're only obviously holding the speeds for 3 minutes. Your heart rate hasn't got time to get quite as high, and lactate's not going to build up quite so much in 3 minutes versus 5 minutes.
Yeah. That was 1 kilometer an hour jumps as well, wasn't it?
That was
a year ago. Yeah,
jumps.
so you have less resolution of the
curve. So again, it was not a perfect comparison, because you can definitely get more. You can get more detail with half k an hour increments. It's easy to pinpoint exactly, but I was pretty confident from that my LT2 was 20k an hour, and to be half a k an hour faster than that is great. And I think last time my LT1 wasn't 19. It was, I think, I was trying to pull it up here, but I can't find it now. It was I think it was like 18 and a half or something. So both LT1 and LT2 like half a k an hour faster, which is really encouraging. Hopefully that means I can run half a k an hour faster than I did last year, which would be enough to run sub 212. So I did do the maths, and like last time I held 94% of LT2 for the marathon, which got me which worked out as 18.7k an hour, or 2:15:19. So if I held the same, if my durability is the same, and I held 94% of my LT2 this time, then that would give me 2:11 something. So that was encouraging. Like I think about a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, I'd have gone, is there any chance I'm going to run sub 2:12:30? I'd have gone, probably I'd given it like, I'd gone 30:70, like doing it, not doing it, maybe 20:80. Whereas now I'm more like 60-40. So I'm more confident than not that I could do it. But there's so many other factors on my day.
Yeah. What's
And
95% of 21.5? Because that was what we were
20.5.
sort of talking about at the start of like the first episode, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
you reckon you can sustain sort of 95% of your turn point or your second threshold.
Yeah. I think if you're like super trained, then yeah, like that'll give you 19.5 k an hour, which is about 209 pace.
Yeah.
So like I think in theory, like if I could, even if I just held those thresholds but just got even more durable, there's still room for me to run faster. But
Yeah.
if I get, I think like I'd like to say that my durability is better this year than it was last year. Like I have done more marathon specific stuff. I've done some more long runs, but not actually that much more. And I think that's still an area where I've underplayed it, and partly because there's just been a couple of times where I've not been well and I've missed a key session, or like like at the start of this week, I wanted to get in one last like longer hard session. So yeah, there has been some of that, but I think that's just still an area where it's encouraging. I think it's still an area I've got room to develop.
Yeah.
In terms of like the big sessions, well, I ran Berlin Marathon in 2:25. I did 8x3k off a K float, so that was 32k of running, averaging like I think it was 318 a K. I did a 35k at a pretty good pace. I think it was like 324s. I did the 4x4 mile off a mile float, which was 32k, 20 miles of running, again a little bit faster than I did for the 8x3k. So what was that, 4 was it 4 or 5?
5 I think. Yeah.
Berlin 8x3, 35k,
4x4.
4x4. Yeah, so they're the ones that I would class as like, more marathon specific durability stuff.
Yeah.
And I've done some other big sessions. Like I did 12 by 6 minutes, which ends up 72 minutes of running, but it's not continuous, I think, which is one of the key things. Yeah.
Some sort of a shame the Vintus died, so you couldn't see if your economy had changed. Like it's probably not going to change much, is it? And like you've changed shoes since the first test, that's going to affect it. But like just to see if over the course of a marathon block you can actually affect it, or whether that does need the years of running that we sort of think it does.
Yeah. And again, that's another thing that's annoying is, but for me, it was like if I had the economy data, I mean, I can go look at those first 4 stages. I haven't done it yet. I've just been busy, and because they're not the interesting stages, I've not been that bothered. I wanted to see like if there was some really obvious economy differences, then you could go, well, maybe it's different shoe. Maybe how much about changing threshold is the shoe versus the training. And yeah, I think the shoe's a better shoe. Right? That's what we're testing suggested. But it's not like it's not half a K an hour better shoe. Maybe it's 0.1, 0.2, probably 0.1 K an hour, to be honest, like 0.1, 0.1.5 K an hour difference. It's not going to explain half K an hour. So the training must have done something. But yeah, I will go back at some point, have a look at the gas data, but it's only like I said, only the first 4 stages, and I'd have liked a bit more than that. But yeah. So really, like overall, like delighted with that. I came away and I was like, yeah, I'm cloud 9. Like, right, great. That's the best test we've ever done. Better than last year. In the direction, like, well, I was nearly, like I said before, I was nearly like, what's wrong here? Why is it so good? Like, there must be something. Like, am I a bit heart rate suppressed? Am I a bit fatigued, and that's why my heart rate's not getting up that high? Because in the first few stages, my heart rate was just ridiculously low, and I was like, am I unwell? Am I dying? Am I what's happening here? Because I think it took me until my heart rate is always pretty low for the paces, but it took me until I was running 5:13 a mile pace, or 18.5k an hour, which is I've worked out the k's now, but until my heart rate went over 150, like I was 144 heart rate at 320 a k, and that was that, like, for 5 minute stages. I was just like, this can't be right. This can't be right. But then, like, I can't be unwell, because I was like, actually, that day, that afternoon, and from then I felt absolutely fine, and the data was just so good. And actually at the faster speeds I felt fine. You know, I didn't feel unwell whilst I was running. I felt great. And yeah, it was just I wouldn't have thresholds like that if I was unwell. Like, if we're thinking about how I was a few weeks ago when I just did a session, and my lactate and heart rates were just way off. It wasn't like that. My heart rate, my LT2 heart rate on the test today was 172. The test on Friday was 172, and that's like my LT2 heart rate is always 170 to 172. Like, I normally just use 170 because it's a nice round number, but like I've been at 171, 172, and LT1 was 155, which is really normal for me. So I must just be fit, I guess.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully. Yeah. So yeah, gave me a lot of confidence. I feel like, based off of, if I was just going off of that alone, then yeah, you could go, right, maybe I can go run to 11. But you've got to appreciate there's so many other factors, and I think I have got a good bank of data, but you know, there's going to be conditions on the day. How does the fueling go? How is my durability? Because that's something you can't really test. Yeah.
If the marathon doesn't happen, we'll say you're a 2:11 runner.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. If something happens in the next few days, I just can't make the start. Oh yeah, I think I actually might have been in 209 shape, you know. But yeah.
Stick that on your Strava in the description.
Yeah.
Profile description.
So yeah, that was exceeded my expectations. Really happy with that, and yeah, gave me a lot of confidence going into the race. And feel like now, when you know, it's definitely taper time now. So I guess that's Friday. Didn't double that day, obviously, because I missed my opportunity to run in the morning and just ran in the afternoon, and yeah, that was fine. Ended up being I recorded the warm up and the test separately, so it ended up being like 21k of running. So a bit of volume there. Saturday, 10 miles, 16k, nice and easy. And then this morning, in the absolutely horrendous weather, I did 30k. Jemima was supposed to be doing her LERF course, her that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, LERF, yeah.
What's it stand for? Leader in Running Fitness.
Yeah.
Out in
she's gonna do that course and set herself up as a coach and charge 50 quid a month for coaching plans.
No, she's gonna outprice me. She's gonna yeah. Or maybe she'll undercut me by £5 or something. But no, she's doing it because yeah, she runs with a really good women's running group in Newport. And they've got her to do a course, which is cool. But she was supposed to be going off to that early, so I had to, and she wanted to run too, so I said, all right, I'll get up early and do my run, and then she can run and then go off to a course. The course happened later. We found out the course was cancelled, which is really annoying, because I got up pretty early to get this done. But yeah, did 30k. Started off, it rained the whole time. Started off, I just did 5k laps around whereby I live, because I wanted the pace to be half decent, and it was dark and it was just good, well lit. The first lap, yeah, no flooding. By the end, I was like shin deep in water. So I was hoping to progress the pace a little bit, and the pace didn't really progress. If anyone went backwards, but I think that was partly because heart rate was going up, but I was wading through puddles. But yeah, it was fine. I did 30k, 354 a k, which is a little bit faster than I have done the last few 30ks in, but heart rate was like 130 something average, 133 or something. So yeah, I don't know if it's normal to do 30k 7 days out, but it's not like it was a hard 30k. Like I've got it here. What the average heart rate was 133. My LT1's 155, so
Yeah.
it was not that bad. Just felt like I wanted, like, in my head, I was thinking, like, my thresholds are fantastic now. It's just durability. So like, if I can get, like, something a bit longer in, maybe that's going to be the difference. But it's not really. It's just. Yeah, I just sort of wanted. I felt like I'd tapered a bit more than I wanted to. Just done the 3x10 minutes on Tuesday, and a couple of times this week I'd like to have doubled, but just couldn't get out. So I thought, well, I'll do something a little bit more. But yeah, it was horrendous weather. It was absolutely vile. Took on 3 gels just to keep the gut being exposed to carbohydrates during running. But would have wished I didn't really want to take them. It's just I don't. Yeah, it's not. I don't enjoy taking carbs during a run, but it was fine. I was going at such an easy pace as well that it was never going to be an issue. But I thought maybe just keeping that gut exposure would be good. But yeah, that's 1 week to go. 149k, 10 hours 18 minutes. What's that in miles? 149 divided by 1.609, 92 miles. So that is yeah. It's considering I did 184 last week and 191k a week before that. Like it's definitely like trending downwards. Yeah. Felt like I'm freshening up. Yeah, that was my week. Yeah. Not really. I have got my time in training zone somewhere. There wouldn't have been that much intensity in there though, because even like the threshold test, yeah, I had a couple of minutes in like zone 5, but not.
Yeah, and those strides wouldn't have been long enough to get your heart rate up, would they? So
no.
I guess this is where if you recorded pace zones, that would maybe almost reflect a bit more accurately, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But that's cover issues. So.
Yeah. I got it here. I've got it here, but then I've just remembered. But I had one run this week. My heart rate monitor completely out of fit, and I averaged on an easy run. I was hitting like 170 heart rate, so that's going to throw it all off. But yeah, so it's not even worth reporting. 7 hours 21 minutes in zone 1, an hour 38 in zone 2. Because I did have a bit in zone 2 today, so there was more in zone 2 this week. An hour 13 in zone 3, but I think a lot of that is garbage data. But I did get into zone 5 for let's have a look here. 5 minutes in zone 4 and 1 minute and 38 seconds or something in zone 5. So yeah, I actually touched them. I maxed at 179 for the heart rate at about 21k an hour stage. At the end of the threshold testing, and my max heart rate's about 190, 188. So it was getting there, but I still had a bit left.
Yeah. So onto the marathon, because this will be, if we said before we started recording, if we can record something, we will. But this may be the last podcast before, not the last ever podcast on the planet, but last podcast with us before Valencia Marathon. So. I'd put together a couple of, I guess, themes, and then there's been a few listener questions to sort of fit in those. So I think first of all, pacing strategy, which you've talked about. Have you talked about it on one of these episodes? You've talked about it on the Inside Running podcast with them, your pacing strategy for the marathon.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been pretty clear. I think we said in the first episode, you're not going to just go out at 2:12:30 pace. You're going to use your somewhat well documented
yeah, but I think we did a podcast just outside of the series, didn't we, just on marathon pacing?
I think we did. Yeah
we did. So but yeah, I think like you said, I'm not just gonna go out at 2:12:30 pace. But if you haven't listened to it already, then I basically use heart rate to pace my marathons.
We've literally got an episode called How to Pace Your Next Marathon.
Yeah, so you can go listen to that. But to summarize, the last 6 marathons I've used heart rate to pace them, and I've ended up negative or even splitting like every single one. arguably Valencia last year was not quite a negative split. I think I was like 20 seconds slower in the second half, but every time it's just worked really well for me. So I basically have I know that for a marathon I'm going to average about 165, 166, but that's the average. So I have like intermediate splits. So I know that before I'm trying to remember what they are now. I think because I used to do it in miles as well, so I need to work out what it is for Ks. But in miles, I would like not hit 162 before. I think it's like not hit. So yeah, 162 before 5 miles, like 163 before 10 miles, 165 before 15 miles, and then from then it's just pretty much run as hard as you can. Like 170, I wouldn't want to hit 170 before like 18 or 19 miles, and then just run as hard as I can to a finish. And that's enabled me to basically, I can. I've not gone out too fast by doing that approach, and I've just stuck with it. And every time it's worked out with a really nice pacing strategy. Like typically finishing a bit faster in the last 10k, and even Valencia last year, although I was slower in the second half, that was partly because I was with the elite women, and they were just slowing. I sort of couldn't make up my mind if I wanted to go off in front of a group or stick with them. So I think we slowed a bit from like halfway up to 30k, but then actually the last 10k was one of my quickest. I think it was my quickest 10k still. It's just we slowed a bit in the from 21 to 30k. So it's worked really well for me, and that's the approach I'm going to take, because even if say I'm not in 212 shape, I'm actually in 213 shape. If I go off at 212 shape, blow up, and I run 215 or like 216 and I miss my PB, then I'll be pretty annoyed. Whereas actually, even if I ran 213 and didn't hit the European time of 212.30, I mean, I'd still be delighted with that, because that'd be a big PB. Like 2 minutes feels like a big PB for me anyway. And say I'm a 213 marathoner would be really, really cool. So I don't want to. This is not an all or nothing approach. Like I remember like Phil Sessman when he was going for the Olympics, it was all or nothing. Like if you need to go run 208.10, you've put all your eggs in one basket, you go out at that pace and just hang on as long as you can. But for me, like I don't think I'm in that position. It'd be great to make that team, but I would also be delighted if I ran 213. So
yeah. And I guess on that sort of all or nothing theme, we briefly discussed it before, but bicarb, will you be having bicarb before the race?
Yeah. And we talked about this in our supplements episode, and we talked a bit about it during this series as well, I think, haven't we?
Yeah.
So short answer is no, I'm not going to take the bicarb. I've still only managed to practice with it once, which is partly just me not being organized enough, partly just being away a couple of times. Yeah, there's just been things that come up that have prevented me testing out on something like marathon specific. Like there's only so many hard long runs I do in a block, and it just hasn't worked out, but I've been able to take one before using one of them. So I don't think the risk is worth the potential rewards. Like I think theoretically it could help in the last 10k when you are pushing the intensity, getting close to VO2 max, probably producing a bit of some acidity in the muscles, and you want to buffer that. But it also could lose you 5 minutes if you have to stop in the Portaloo like 3 or 4 times, or you just don't finish, or you just have a stitch the whole way, a stomach cramps the whole way around. So on balance, especially considering I think I'm in really good shape, doesn't seem like a sensible decision to take it.
Yeah, I guess that's specific to you, isn't it? It does feel like feels like there's every chance that we hear a story after Valencia of XYZ marathoners take it and it really explodes sort of in the long distance stuff, doesn't it? But yeah, when you're not going for a really, really set time, it's like, how much do you want to risk?
Well, I think even then, like, how much do you want? Yeah, I guess, if it's like Olympics all or nothing, and you think you're not quite there, then you go, right, I'll take that risk. For me, I think, well, maybe I am in the fitness to do like 2:12:30, so it seems like a bigger risk to take the bicarb. And actually, how much benefit is actually going to give you? Like, I reckon ballpark, it's not going to give you 2 minutes. It might give you 30 seconds, maybe. I don't think it's giving you more than 30 seconds, to be honest. I just can't see how it would. Maybe max a minute. But then, like I said, it could lose you like the whole race. So is that a sensible risk?
Watch someone break 2 hours and take bicarb. Set up a bicarb company quick.
So I will at some point, maybe in the next marathon, I might try it, but I want to be rigorous and really practicing it in the block, and I just haven't done that this time. So it doesn't seem like on balance, doesn't seem like a sensible decision to risk it all on the potential of gaining 30 seconds.
So
that's
then,
what I felt on that.
On the fueling sort of theme again, like your actual plan for the fueling for the marathon?
So last time I took on 90 grams carbs an hour using the SAS beta fuel gels. So I'm going to stick with the SAS beta fuel gels because I've used them for the last 4 or so marathon. Well, no, actually, every marathon that I haven't had drinks for, I've used the SAS beta fuel gels. Not more than I only because these are what I used first, and I seem to tolerate them fine. I haven't really used the Morton ones. I think I've tasted them once, and they taste pretty vile.
When they get warm, they're pretty horrible.
Whereas I'm not saying these taste great, but they're fine. And historically, Morton didn't have 40-gram gels, whereas now they do. So I've just stuck with it because I've practiced it. I've used it so many times now. I know it works. But yeah, last time I did 90 grams an hour. I'm going to try and push it up to 120. And in contrast to the bicarb, I've actually practiced that quite a lot in training, and I seem to be tolerating it fine every time. So that can be a risk, like how much do you push for carbs. But I seem to tolerate it fine, which is encouraging. And it's also you can actually it's more adjustable during the race. And if you're feeling like actually you are taking on too much, you can just not take the next gel. Whereas with a bicarb, if you're starting to have side effects, well, you can't do anything about that. You're stuck. Like it's in your system. I'm going to aim for 120 grams an hour, which basically works out as every 6K having a 40-gram gel. But let me just do the maths here. So that'd be 6, 12. If I had one at 6, it would be 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. But then the last one would be 42. So you basically got 2 6K gaps at the you basically have a 6K gap at the start and a 6K gap at the end where you're not taking anything on. So what I will probably do is actually take the first one at like 3K in, which would then mean that I could take one at like 39K potentially if I felt like I needed it, because there's no point taking one at 42K. So actually, it would actually mean your last gel is at 36K, which is still 6K left at running to do, which I feel like actually that's when you're going to most need for glucose. That's going to be the most glycogen depleted. You're going to be most rely on that exogenous carbohydrate stores. So I think my plan will be to take the first one at 3K and then go at 3, 9, 15, etc.
And I guess the 39 one, even if you're feeling like you can't take a whole gel, you could just mouth rinse some of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to take, by that point, even if you don't take the whole gel, like, it's a couple of quid you're chucking on the floor, but like, you don't have to finish it all, do you? You can, like, you'll still get a benefit from a mouth rinse. And maybe get a third of it down.
And I think it just, for me, I actually quite like it. I feel like it just breaks up the rhythm, like not the rhythm, but like it's like it's a mental switch to like a mental like message, just like refocus, like having a gel. It breaks up the race a bit. So I do try and take them as late into the race as possible, but play it by ear. And if I'm feeling like I can't cope with it, like you said, just try and get in swill it around the mouth, or just taking a mouthful. But I do also try and like hold them for quite a while. I won't just like down it in one. I can potentially be running with it for a K, which I find helps. Just make sure you get it down, not rushing. It stops probably massive up and down spikes in glucose, and just focusing on trying to get the whole thing in. So yeah, that'll be my plan for carbs and the fueling. I guess from a durability perspective, maybe that'll help. Hopefully that'll help. I've been saying again, I think if you go 60 versus 90 grams an hour, like I'd say that's quite a sizable difference. That's going to make it a big performance difference. 90 versus 120, that's not going to be the same amount of difference, but I'm hoping it might help a little bit. We'll see. And I seem to be tolerating it fine. So yeah, that'll be my fueling during the race.
And then on the fueling as well, we had a listener question from Tom asking whether you take any electrolytes apart from what's in the gel. I'm assuming it's a no, because you're running out of capacity to carry stuff.
Yeah. So no, I don't take any electrolytes. You're just not losing that much. You're not losing that much salt over the course of 2 hours of running, even if you're sweating quite hard. It's not going to. People talk about cramps. So there's actually quite poor evidence that electrolyte loss is linked to cramps. It is in like really extreme situations. You know, if you've like lost a massive amount of, you know, if you're super dehydrated and you need a cramp, but that could well be the dehydration, not the salts. It's actually, I think the latest, maybe not consensus, but I think most people think it's more to about actually the conditioning of the muscle and just fatigue itself rather than cramps. So if you're going to cramp in a marathon if you're not prepared to run a marathon, basically. If you could be super, like I'd imagine like the sort of people who are going to get loads of cramps are someone who's, you know, maybe come from another sport, is actually quite fit, like football or cycling potentially, but they haven't loaded their muscles up for doing the long runs and things like that. I think that's where cramp can be more prominent.
Wasn't there some work in like football players where like they tried different like fueling and nutrition and they didn't change it, and then they just had them do like some leg conditioning, like resistance training, I think, and then the cramps went away?
Yeah, quite possibly. I've had anecdotal
Yeah.
evidence of that's the case in football, but yeah, like someone suffering with cramps, like they were looking at the nutrition and they were doing like sweat tests and looking at their iron losses, and what cured it was getting in the gym and doing a load of calf raises, and they stopped getting cramps. So yeah.
And I guess you'll just eat normally. Well, you'll do a carb load, I guess, the day before, which will also have like loads of electrolytes in just whole food, right, as well. So
yeah. I guess like pre-race diet. So the last few marathons I've done like I have stolen this from Phil Sessamon, which is like a low residue diet, which basically means avoiding anything that's going to stay in the GI tract for quite a while. So avoiding fiber, avoiding really fatty foods. So it's basically a really boring diet of carbohydrates and not too much else. So for example, I'm not having whole fruit and veg. I would have an orange juice. I wouldn't have an orange because an orange has got loads of fiber in. And I find that helps with like GI distress on the day. I have had to stop in the Portaloo a few times in my early marathoning career, if you want to call it a career. And this is it was a semi-regular occurrence, whereas I've not had that issue since transitioning to this diet. So I do that in the day before. I'm also trying to hit like 10 grams of carbs per kilo of body weight. So that's I mean, it's quite a high amount of carb, but compared to my normal diet, it's probably not that high. But I'm also obviously not doing as much training. So
yeah, I think also being like you hear people talk about like the sort of final day carb load, and this is where like the evidence base sort of points out that like you don't need to carb load beyond 36 hours. Like you can't store any more carbohydrates longer than that. So there's no point putting your sort of body and I guess mind through just forcing food down yourself. But you go based off body weight. And for both of us being like 60 kilos, it's a lot of food, but it's also not too much. Like I found like a couple of packs of wine gums is a lot of carbs, and I can sort of do that. Okay. Yeah. And then once you break the back of it, it's actually not too hard to do. Whereas you hear other people that are maybe more like 75, 80 kilos, and that's becoming a lot of food.
At 59 kilos, it actually isn't that much carbs.
No.
I also try and like not front load it, but don't backload it. So not having like a massive evening meal. I prefer to
stopping it
get,
early.
because then that's just you feel uncomfortable, feel bloated. And then the next day, like it's just not feeling great. My you talk about wine gum. Was it wine gums you said?
Wine gums, jelly babies. Like there's loads of carbohydrate.
A bag of Haribo is my go-to. So Haribo, rice cakes, like chocolate coated rice cakes or something like that. It's quite a good one in terms of high carb, low fiber. I tend to go rice over pasta as well if I can.
Rice. Pasta's really filling for actually not much carbohydrate compared to rice. And like those microwave packs of rice that are flavored are really nice, because if you're just eating sugar, like you just don't want sweet things, and actually have it chucking some savory stuff in. It's quite nice.
You don't want just sugar all day. You feel pretty rubbish. Last year, because Jemima really wanted to make it a holiday, because we left Nye for the first time with my parents. So we went out. We had a paella the day before. The night before.
I remember you sending me a photo of that. And I was like, is that your carb
seafood paella, which may be slightly risky, but it was loads of rice, but that's fine, works fine. So probably
go to the same place.
Might even repeat it. Might even repeat it. But and then like morning of, I go again, like really simple, like low fat, low fiber. Try and get a bit of fructose in there as well, because I think I mentioned previously that's good for liver glycogen, which is the name of the game. You're in the morning, all you need to do is replace your liver glycogen, and that's probably about 80-90 grams of carbs. It's not that much, so I tend to I'll go like something like white bread and jam, or that's it, or Rice Krispies I've had before, with an orange juice, to get some fructose in. Jam's obviously got fructose in. Orange juice, but I'm not actually having that much, because there's no, if you've carbs loaded the whole day before, I'll have done like probably like max of a 10k run, probably a bit less. However, I look back at my Strava from last year thinking, what did I do last year? I remembered I actually doubled the day before last year, except because Jemima wanted to go out for a run in the evening, and didn't know where to go, and she was like, oh, should I go, should I not? And she was just getting grumpy, and I'm like, you need to go for a run. So just like, right, I'll come with you. So I ended up doing I ended up doubling last year, but which is probably not what I would advise people to do, but it was fun, obviously paid off, and that was very easy. But I probably just do one run in the morning, and then and take it from there.
So then last few kit. So obviously Saw shorts,
which tried and tested, can easily hold my 6 gels that I will carry with me. Is that definitely 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it could be 7. Yeah, that's fine. I can get seven gels in there. That's fine. I'm running for Wales, which is very cool. So I'm picking up a fresh new Welsh Athletics vest.
Are they giving you a new one?
Yeah, I'm getting a new one. Yeah.
No expenses spared.
I know. Picking one new with one of them this week. I'm going to be racing in the Metaspeed Sky. Paris's, whatever they're called, the Sky version, the latest Sky version. In my size 8s, and hope I've already cut my toenails nice and short, so hopefully they won't that won't backfire on me. This is marginal gains here. Well, I was thinking like marginal gains, like a size 8 versus a size 8.5. There's like so I weighed the edges, which are a size 8.5, versus the skies, which are 8s. 20 grams saving there. 20 grams.
I mean, if we're talking marginal gains, just to slightly derail the kit discussion, but will you be getting a haircut?
I am going to get a haircut, because that is going to save me like mine. Forget about the wind like resistance. That's going to save me like probably I don't know, a good few 100 grams, I reckon.
Yeah.
I might even go as sharp as yours and like skin fade on the sides, and
it's the way to go.
Yeah.
So then I think that's everything, right?
I think so.
Or
just race it. Yeah. I guess the only discussion point we'd had was, will I or will I not beat the first woman?
Oh, yeah. So you're number 106. So I think I don't know, we'll decide what poll we're going to put out. We'll put it on Spotify, but either will you beat your number, although we're saying top 100. Also, it's mental. You're number 106 with a 2:15 PB.
I know.
This is like those Japanese half marathons, isn't it? Where
yeah. Well, last time I think I was about 100 and something. I ended up coming like 60th running 2:15, which is crazy in itself. But yeah, I think for me the bet is the 50-50 one is do I beat the first woman or not?
Yeah, because last year you were like you weren't in the lead women's pack. They were in your pack, I think, because you got most of the TV time. I remember watching last year and just being like, Dan's still here and he's right at the front of the.
Yeah, I literally ran the elite women for for the first 30. Well, not actually, but they were a bit ahead of me at the start. I mean, I saw them up there and I thought, right, I'll catch them up, and sat with them until like 30k, and then they started to slow because we were on like 2:14.50 pace, like until like 21k or something, 22k. Then it started just to slow. I think so. I was about 90 seconds clear in the end. I think the first woman ran like 2:16 high or something.
Yeah, and this year I think the best PB was maybe 2:14.50 something, maybe.
Yeah.
But
after seeing like what happened at Chicago and like
you say this and then someone will run to a 9.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll put that up as a poll. See what people think. Will you beat the first woman? There was one other quick question from Dara on Spotify. He just asked what sort of warm up you're doing. Do you do any activation stretching? He was asking this, I think, in relation to every run. And I can say, having run with you, you don't. We just
I do no activation or stretching before easy runs, even before a session. I typically just ramp up the intensity a bit. I might do some token drills, but I don't think they add much. Before the marathon, I tend to jog for 5 to 10 minutes. I don't do any strides or anything.
It's just a big car park in Valencia, isn't it? Where
it's an underground car park. It's quite cool, and all the elites are in there together. So it's like sub elites, which I've got a sub elite number. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, you've got quite good space for warming up. No GPS signals. You have no idea what pace you're going. So because you are underground, but it's a nice big space. So yeah, I tend to jog for 10 minutes. I don't think strides. I just don't. I can jump in and run 5-minute mile pace from the start. So like that's without feeling it awful. And you've got the first. I just don't want to glycogen deplete myself by doing a too intense warm up. So I think 5 or 10 minutes, nice and easy, and is good for me.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's everything I had written down. Yeah, like we said, nothing more to it. Just go run the race now.
Just go run it, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. Hopefully it goes well, but regardless of what the outcome, we'll do a debrief podcast at some point.
So
I'm gonna have to shoot off in any second because I'm having a call with my parents to discuss handing Nye over to them for the long weekend, because again we've managed to leave Nye with my parents. Me and Jemima are going to go off and have a nice child-free long weekend. Nice, but yeah, should be be fun. It looks nice conditions out in Valencia at the minute. Nice and warm in the afternoon, not too hot in the mornings.
But hopefully everyone's enjoyed the series, and fingers crossed for a good result. We'll record as soon as we can where it's a decent recording. We're not going to get you on the phone on Spanish Wi-Fi in the airport or something. We'll sit down and properly record, so it might be a few days after the race, but all the best. I'm sure everyone that's listened this far we'll have your number in the tracking app at the end and during the race, and cheering you on. I'm excited now. I was not dreading it, but going, like about 2 weeks ago, like I said, I didn't think training. You always have these peaks and troughs in training, don't you? And you just go like, I'm not going to run very well. Like, is it even worth the trip? Like, I've done this whole podcast series on it. That hasn't felt like too much pressure, to be honest. I run what I want. I'm doing it for me. Right. But but I've been doing that lab test. That's given me a lot of confidence, and I'm looking forward to just going out and giving it a go. And I'm confident I can PB. If I can run 2:12:30, then fantastic. But we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, excited to go. And thanks for people have already started me sending me good luck messages. So thanks for that. It's really nice to hear. And thanks for just supporting this podcast series. And thanks again for Saw for facilitating, because it's
they've been part of the reason why we've done this Road to Valencia series, and they've helped support it. And really looking forward to wearing their shorts. Definitely the best pair of shorts marathon shorts I've raced in. They're going to allow me to carry my 7 gels in. So yeah, they're part of the process as well. And pretty thank Welsh Athletics, I guess, as well for giving me a vest and helping support me get out to a race. But yeah, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah, let's leave it there. So yeah, all
see
the
you on
best
the other
next
side,
Sunday.
isn't it? Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
Yeah. Cheers.